What's up, you guys? Steven here for Off Shelf Movie Night to talk to you about physical media, about Blu-rays and 4Ks, and the way we like to buy and own our movies and TV shows and documentaries, whatever it is we like to watch. We like to buy it, put it on the shelf, make usually a beautiful library, sometimes one that's a mess, like mine seems to constantly be because I procrastinate, I'm lazy, and I have a lot of movies. So those things are a bad combination for making stuff pretty sometimes. I keep looking at my laptop, and I know that's a little weird, but that's fine. Anyway, if you're new, what we do here is talk about physical media. Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and join this conversation. Because the whole reason I'm here and the whole reason I do this is because I want to talk about physical media. Now, after saying all that, my chair is squeaking, hear that? After saying all that, we're going to talk about a streaming thing. And I think it's relevant for a few reasons. One, we're talking about 31 Days of Halloween. I will be doing a live stream. My Movie Theme Monday live streams through October are dedicated to horror movie themes, because I'll use those times to talk about my 31 days movie watching. So this movie, Hellraiser, that we're going to talk about right now, will be mentioned briefly in that live stream, but I felt like it's so important, it deserved its own video review. So this is not going to be super long. I'm just going to talk about the movie for a minute. And it's relevant to the physical media channel because, one, we love horror, and two, if we love it enough, we're going to buy it, right? We're going to hopefully get a physical release. I'm still hoping for some physical release of Prey. It's Disney, so who knows? It may be something we have to get from the Disney Movie Club, and if that's the case, that's fine. I'm in the Disney Movie Club. If you're not, you probably should be. I gotta throw this one away. I got multiple cans here. Anyway, I'm very distracted tonight. It is cold. I'm having to wear a long sleeve shirt. It's weird. It's cold. Anyway, Hellraiser. This is a 2022 remake. I don't know if this was ever meant to be in theaters or not, or if it was strictly made for Hulu. I haven't researched it enough because I don't really, normally I would say this is a movie that should have been in theater. Normally that's what I would say. But spoiler alert, I didn't really like it that much. I know a lot of people are raving about it, and I was hoping that I would be in that group, but I am not. I didn't hate it, okay? It's still the third best Hellraiser film after 1 and 2. But it's not what it could have been and should have been. So I kept thinking that this was going to go back a little closer to the source material, which is a novella, so it's a small story to be riffing on to begin with. But the original movie with Doug Bradley kind of dipped its toe into the sort of atmosphere and vibe of the book in a way that was very pleasing. It was a great film, but there was room to go darker, to go, I don't know, for lack of a better word, sleazier, because the story is that. And in a weird way, I think the second movie went sleazier than the first one, and it felt tonally correct. And I'm not saying you got to have a bunch of like hardcore sex or anything, because that's not necessarily what the story is about. But Hellraiser is fascinating because it does examine that thin line between pain and pleasure, between, happiness and sadness, and that line that I think some people cross between, the pleasures of the flesh and pain, that, it's freaky. It kind of freaks me out, and that's what's so great about the story. This new movie only references that aspect of the storytelling. It mentions it in a line, but this movie completely, to me, feels softened. Actually, the proper way to pronounce that word is softened, by the way, but I struggle with that. Anyway, it's tamer. For one, most of the gore is CGI. It's not practical, including some of the chains. Not practical, they're CGI, and all that feels tamer and safer. But yeah, that's my biggest disappointment, is it just feels a little bit sanitized, even compared to the first movie. and especially compared to the source material. Now, I know there was a lot of controversy because they were picking a female for the priest, the main Cenobite for Pinhead. And I don't understand the problem with that. First of all, Doug Bradley is iconic in that role. So I think the only smart thing to do is to go radically different than him. You don't want to try to recreate what he did, because you can't. That is like trying to recreate Robert Englund's Freddy. You can't do it. You've got to do something different. And all things considered, I would say that what is her name? I'm drawing a blank. I'm looking to my computer now. Sorry, you guys. Jamie Clayton. I thought she was great. She had great presence. They augmented her voice a little bit and made it ominous but still effeminate. And I think that actually fits the character from the book, because the character from the book is almost genderless, or all genders. It wasn't, ooh, it's a man, or ooh, it's a woman. You can have anybody play this role that has the presence. So that will lead me to another, and I'm going to be as spoiler free as I can. If I decide to get into spoilers as I go stream of thought here, I'll let you know before I do. The thing that makes Pinhead so iconic and so incredibly charismatic is the way in which he or she speaks. There's a very seductive, flowery delivery, poetic delivery of dialogue and type of dialogue that makes him or her, makes them scary and attractive at the same time. This movie does not reach the levels that the first movie did with that. And that is core to who the priest is, to who Pinhead is. And they never got there. There's a few okay lines, but the only good lines the priest delivers really are riffs on the original lines from the movie and from the book, which is great. I mean, those lines should be included. They should be utilized. But in general, when the priest speaks, it should be all of those things. And it wasn't in this movie. And it's funny to me how so many people are losing their minds over this movie. And maybe it's because their expectations were so low. But they don't hit those beats. It never gets there. So there's that. Let's talk about the Cenobite design. The Cenobite designs generally do reflect the designs of the original Cenobites. They have their homage aspect, but they feel more plasticky, more digitally enhanced. I don't know if they were CG enhanced, but they feel more plasticky. There's should be an S&M bent to them. They should be very leathery and fleshy, but they don't feel that way in this movie. I mean, they don't. It's not that they look bad. They don't look bad. They look good, but not to the level that they should have looked. They feel a little safe, a little sanitized. Sorry, you guys. I think I have a sinus infection happening. I did test for the bug, and it's not that. So that kind of throws me off. I mean, it would be fine if everything else was. Oh, my cat's meowing now. Everything else was hitting all the right notes, but in general, that is part and parcel with my feeling about the movie. Is it just misses the target on every level. And there is a plot device related to the Cenobites that comes into play between the second and third act that's laughably bad. It's laughably bad in its execution and even its existence. I can't say it because it would be very spoilery, but I really hated it. It was really, really, really bad decision making. the Cenobites should be all powerful, you know? It has always felt like Pinhead could come and go wherever he needed to come and go. Now, he the world building is important, you know, and in the previous Hellraisers, he didn't necessarily, at least in Hellraiser 1 and 2, he didn't necessarily do anything to you until you invited him to do so. And that is kind of the way things were set up in this Hellraiser until it was convenient to break the rule. And that just really annoyed me also. It's weak writing. The script needed another pass to deal with that, to clarify and clean up that world building. A bad story can be covered with good world building. And this one has flaws in the world building and the all right, that's enough on that. Let's talk about some of the other characters. So, we're going to talk about Riley, who is the main character in this one. And this actress, I don't know if I've seen her before. Odessa Azion, maybe based off. I'm going to click on her on IMDb really quick, see what else she's known for, to see if I've seen anything else. I liked her. I think she's a good actress. Yeah, looking at her what she's known for section, I don't know any of these things. But her character, you know, her character is not likable. She's a bad person. And, you know, I get the whole bad person with a good heart thing done well. That can work okay. I never fully felt it with her character, though. That said, her charisma, the actress's charisma, carries her through. End up liking her still okay, for the most part. Now, her brother and roommate and her brother's boyfriend, I hated them all. The characters are badly conceived. They're obviously there for cannon fodder. And the actors are not good. The actors are not good. I don't want to be mean about it, but they just aren't. I couldn't wait to see them die. If they died. You gotta watch it to see, I guess, if you haven't seen it. But I wanted to see them all die. Because they're just not good. There's one additional character that I'm not going to speak about right now that is pretty interesting and pretty entertaining. Yeah, that character is fun, and the actor does a good job with that character. That's all I'm going to say about that. Overall, this movie, for me, if I'm going to rate it on a Letterboxd score, and maybe I will put this on Letterboxd at some point, it's probably a 2.5 out of 5. Yeah, 5 out of 10. That sounds about right. It has some okay moments. There's the two main actresses I liked, and that I feel mildly disappointed because this comes from director David Bruckner and screenwriter Ben Collins. This team previously brought us The Night House, which is a movie I quite liked. And David Bruckner also directed The Signal, which is a movie I just watched as part of my 31 Days of Halloween, and is a movie I revisit, fairly often. It's not a perfect movie, but it is a very good, fun movie, and I recommend it. So I had, big hopes that they were going to revitalize this franchise. And based off other people's reviews, maybe they have. I don't know. It just didn't fully work for me. I feel like it's people's enthusiasm to have Pinhead back that I don't think the movie's going to age well once people set with it a little bit. Because the gore is CG'd and looks really bad. The CG chains look really bad. And they didn't have to do those things. They could have done them practically. I just went and saw Terrifier 2 in theater, and I may do another video on that one. And it's pretty much all practical, and it looks amazing in that way. 5 out of 10. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let's talk about Hellraiser. It is part of my 31 Days of Halloween because I watched it. Because I know a lot of people are just doing recommendations. I'm taking you on a tour of what I watch while I watch it, and if you end up wanting to join me on a certain movie, that would be great. Anyway, follow me over on TikTok because I'm doing daily updates. I'm also doing more regular updates on my Pushing 100 project, which is my project to see 100 new release films in theater in 1 year. I just crossed 71 movies, so that's a good place to follow that stuff. So on TikTok, it's OTS Movies. On Letterboxd, it's Culture Smash. Till next week, pull something cool off the shelf, share it with your friends and family, and remind them why physical media is the best way to watch films and TV at home. I'll see you guys on the next one.